about 4:42 p.m., we received an initial 911 call regarding an individual waving a gun at 2868 Durham Avenue in District 3 in the Westwood neighborhood. We're going to play that initial 911 call for you right now.
Who was that, Charlie?
Cincinnati 911, what's the address of the emergency?
2868 Durham Avenue. There's a man out there, D-I-R-H-E-I-M. There's a man out there waving a gun and his kid's there.
Upon further investigation, it revealed that the individual who made this initial 911 call is the girlfriend of the individual that was involved in this incident. 911, our emergency communication center received several additional calls of an individual who was involved in a vehicle crash some distance away that also matched the description of the individual from the initial call. So we're going to play that 911 call for you right now.
Hi, I'm at the corner of Harrison and Dewdale. And a gentleman just wrecked his truck into a telephone pole.
Is it a single car accident then?
Yes, he exited the car, stumbled out, and dropped the gun, and then picked up the gun and then took off.
There's an additional 911 call also that this slide depicts the vehicle described in the auto accident. So we'll play that one.
Cincinnati 911, may I have the address or emergency?
Yeah, I'm at the corner, thank you. I'm at the corner of Dudno and Harrison, and I just witnessed an accident. Guy got out of the car and is walking, but I can't believe it. The truck went straight into a phone pole. Another woman just came up to me here and told me that she had been following him down Harrison, and he was hitting other things, and we're suspecting that he might be under the influence of something. I walked over to see if he was okay, and he kept walking away from me and is walking like down the street. So, and she thinks that she might have seen him drop a gun. I saw him drop something and pick it up, but I didn't see what it was. Is that him over there across the street, or did he keep walking? Yeah, he just left the truck there and kept walking.
After receiving information that the individual had left on foot, District 3 officers responded and came across the individual at 3315 Harrison Avenue. Go ahead. This is the radio traffic once the incident occurred.
33 shots fired. 3315 Harrison.
3315 Harrison, shots fired. 3315 Harrison.
Did they take effect?
Can unit?
Yes, we're going to need someone to shut down North Bend and Harrison and go in the city side.
The unit for North Bend and Harrison.
Wait, are we saying the subject's down or is he still out here with the gun? 3211. We have the weapon recovered. He's down. Search your notification.
Okay, the next two slides will depict a cell phone video that was actually captured by two witnesses who were on Harrison Avenue during the incident. As the officers encountered the individual at 3315 Harrison, they initially gave him commands to go to his knees, which he initially complied. They also gave him additional commands to lie flat on the ground. The individual begins to go to the ground, then raises up and retrieves a firearm from his waistband. The three officers that you see in the slide here, they all three engaged the individual, striking him multiple times. Now the next slide, we'll play it live for you, and then we'll play it so we'll loop it a couple of times so you'll get a closer depiction of what occurred. So go ahead, Mike.
Please do it. Please do it. Please do what you're asked. Please. Back up, Lacey. Do what they say. Back up.
It's also to be noted that there were several other officers that were on the scene. Those three officers that had the vantage point to see him directly, they were the three officers that engaged the individual. As you can see, as he initially starts to go to the ground, he raises up with his right hand, reaches to his waistband. You can see the reaction of the officers. They fire multiple rounds, striking the individual. One more time. The next slide. This is the firearm that was recovered. As it turns out, it is an airsoft pistol. However, a very realistic looking firearm. The officers involved are Police Specialist Scott McManus, been with the department since 1993, assigned to District 3. Officer Zachary Sterling joined the police department in 2007, also assigned to District 3. And Officer Eric Kohler joined the department in 2006, assigned to District 3. The individual involved and now deceased is Mr. Paul Gaston, born in age 37, born in 1978. At this time, I'll take a few questions.
Chief, how far did he get the gun that he reached for in the waistband out of his waistband?
I'm not exactly sure. I know he began to retrieve it from his waistband. I don't think he was able to raise the weapon. The officers, once they identified the weapon, they discharged their firearms.
And I couldn't tell there. Were they issuing a command to him at the time that he?
They were giving him multiple commands. The commands that they were telling him was to lie flat on the ground.
Chief, we had somebody contact us, I don't know if it was true, but she said they said put it down, put it down, put it down. Does that matter?
That was said, yeah, that was also said several times.
Chief, you said the caller, the first 911 caller was the girlfriend of the suspect.
Correct.
Victim. Unless there was more on the call, she never said that's my boyfriend.
There was more information retrieved as part of the investigation, part of the interviews. She was actually not on the scene. She was calling from her workplace. She was receiving information from her sister as to what was occurring.
But she knew it was him.
She knew it was him, correct. So we were able to obtain that information later.
You could hear on the cell phone somebody saying, "Put it." Is that person with the phone?
When you
Did she know the guy? Because she said some kind of name.
No, I don't believe that was the case.
So you don't have a real gun, but you have three officers with guns pointed at you, telling you not to put it down, and you go for it anyway. Is it suicide by cop? I know you don't.
I don't want to speculate on his motives.
I know what's going to happen.
I know the action that occurred, and very tragic. And based on what we've been able to determine, our officers responded to their appropriately and according to their training.
Chief, you said multiple shots, but do you know how many shots?
I believe a total of 9 shots were fired.
And how many hit?
I'm not able to determine that. The coroner will do an autopsy, and we'll be able to make that determination after that.
What can you tell us about Mr. Gaston, his background?
He's had some history. I don't know the specifics, but he does have some history of arrest.
This is the second fatal BB gun shooting since, I guess we're talking about Christmas Eve, and then you've got a couple of other shootings that weren't fatal. I'm thinking that's a lot, but I don't see a connection except that are people getting aggressive? Is there anything that
there's no connection that we can make. Tragically, in this profession, these things do happen. Every officer realizes that there may be a time in their career where they may be faced with a situation like that, and tragically, this is what's occurred. So.
I didn't know. I also thought that people who called in kind of tell us they were calm, they were trying to do the right thing.
We received some very good information and some very good witnesses to this incident. It was very helpful in us being able to get to this point so far. So.
Chief, do you know if the officers knew that he had a gun in his waistband before he reached for it?
I don't believe they knew where it was. They knew via communications that he was in possession of a firearm. So, okay, thank you.
For your time, appreciate you doing the briefing.
Great job,
Mayor, thanks.
Chief Elliot Isaac there give us their play-by-play description of what went down yesterday in Westwood. Again, the suspect, 37-year-old Paul Gaston, died from injuries sustained when the chief says they believe 9 shots were fired after the individual apparently appeared to comply and then reached for his waistband and pulled out a weapon, which we now know was an airsoft gun.
Lots and lots of witnesses there in Westwood when this happened, really in the heart of the early afternoon, just before 5 p.m. Reports of a man who'd been waving a gun around. They played some witness phone calls, witnesses calling 911. Lots of people, and the chief says he doesn't want to speculate on any motives, but that the witnesses have been helpful. We saw cell phone video they played there, and you can actually hear the owner of the cell phone can tell that police are asking him to comply. She's basically hoping, you can hear in her voice, hoping that he will comply before we hear the shots fired.
Right, and Chief says that his officers did appropriately respond in accordance with their training. So we're going to continue to follow this story for you, working to learn more details surrounding the shooting, and of course, we'll have an update for you when we continue on WLWT News 5 at noon.